all in all, I had a good time. Made a lot of good memories driving for Uber and Lyft. And I should probably clarify that I only did both Uber and Lyft for maybe like a month. I quickly realized that, oh, the Lyft passengers are better, Lyft pays more. I ain't gonna do the Uber thing no more. So, again, after maybe just a month, I exclusively drove Lyft. And like I said, good experience overall, taught me a lot. The only time that it got annoying or burdensome or not pleasurable was when I had to do it to make money. When it was something that I could do, you know what I mean, for extra money, that was chill, that was fun. Because again, the whole purpose and the whole reason why I was out there was to grow clientele for my business, for my pet care business. However, there's a very fine line between, being out there promoting your business and being clicking a button, right? And being able to make money driving your car, which I actually did enjoy. I like driving. I enjoy driving. So anyway, just putting that out there. Santa Barbara is a really interesting town, and driving rideshare is a really good way of kind of getting the pulse of the town. So it is nicknamed Land of the Nearly Deads and the Newlyweds because it's either everything's happening or nothing is happening. And obviously, you have to kind of know that if you're going out there being a rideshare driver. So working Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, right? You have to. And obviously Thursday nights, Friday nights, those are lots of college students going from Isla Vista, the college town, to downtown. Everyone always asks, did your car ever get thrown up in? I'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. But in this one, I'm actually going to talk about one of the famous people that I had as a passenger. So the other thing about Santa Barbara is that it's a huge wedding destination, and there's definitely wedding season, right? Where everyone and their mother's having a wedding. I always was so curious to figure out, how many of these weddings, how many of these marriages, these people are still together a year or two afterwards. But anyway. So I'm not going to say where I picked this guy up from. I'm not going to say where I dropped him off. I'm also not going to say the pseudonym that he had in the app, because everything else I'm not going to change. But those three things I'm not going to say, and you'll see where I'm going with this again very shortly. So again, pick this guy up wearing a tuxedo. It's 10:30, 11 at night. And we start chatting. Very obvious he's in town for a wedding. And it's one of his college buddies that's getting married. And I was like, oh, cool. You guys met in college playing football. And I was like, what do you do now? And he's like, I play football. And I'm like, professionally? And he's like, yep. And so, of course, next question, I was like, okay, well, what team are you on? And I'm trying to, again, this guy was so mad, or you could tell he was so frustrated and annoyed that I wasn't drooling over him and that I didn't recognize him. And you'll see where this is going. But I'm trying to remember the way that this conversation went, because I promise you, I don't care. I could give two shits. And he's not even that good looking at all. So again, I'm going to say who it was. And anyway. So, I forgot how the conversation went, and I forgot if he made me guess or if I knew the team that had just gone to the Super Bowl, because the Steelers had just gone to the Super Bowl. Steelers? No, it was the Patriots. See, I don't even remember in this one. the Patriots, right? Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's the Patriots because, and again, you'll see why I'm saying that. But so, okay, so he's like, yeah, we just went to the Super Bowl, and again, he's like trying to make me guess who he is, and I promise you, I could literally not care, but the guy just was so, was so anxious or whatever. You could tell this was really doing something for him. He was trying to stoke his little ego. So at one point, I just turned to him and I was like, "You're not Tom Brady, right?" I do remember that, right? And Tom Brady plays on the Patriots, right? I'm pretty sure. So he's like, "No," he's like, "I'm not Tom Brady." And I was like, "Yeah, like, sorry, I didn't say I didn't care, but I was like, I don't know who you are." And then he said his name was Julian Edelman. And again, I won't say the pseudonym that he used in the app. And I was like, okay, cool. Fucker didn't tip me. And this was, yeah, anyway. So I dropped this guy off, and that was our interesting little interaction. And yeah, that was one of the famous people that I had in my car. I just remember, again, it happened so quickly, and it wasn't somebody that like I knew other than being on the Patriots, but I do remember afterwards like taking a picture in my car and posting on my story. I was like, "Oh, I just had so and so in my as a Lyft passenger." And I remember my little sister being like, "Oh, what?" Anyway, pretty sure that's his name, Julian Edelman, but not the only famous person I had while driving around. Get to some of those a little later in the series.